Welcome everyone. Today's video, we are going to be discussing drink choices and hydration. This is mostly important to help make sure that you don't feel sick after the surgery, that you stay safe, and that we avoid dehydration. Those are the most important things. The other part about drink choices is it can impact long-term success. And this mostly has to do with calories and taste preferences, which we will get into. But the primary thing is making sure that you stay really hydrated. So right now, this is your chance to start practicing getting enough fluid in every single day. This is very challenging after surgery because your stomach is so tiny that oftentimes people actually fall behind throughout the day if they're not paying really close attention to how much they're drinking and when they're drinking. The visual I'll give throughout this whole process is like a little salad dressing cup you would get at a restaurant. They're really tiny, cute little plastic dishes. That is approximately what I would visualize your stomach being able to hold after surgery, immediately after surgery. So if we're thinking about that, we're thinking about, gosh, your stomach can only hold this little bit. You have to be drinking throughout the entire day, or you run the risk of becoming dehydrated, because if you forget to drink for many hours and then you go to drink something, say you've been working out in the yard and you're really thirsty and you go to guzzle a bunch of water, you are not going to be able to drink that much. You're going to get sick or you're going to be in a lot of pain. So the salad dressing cup is an extreme sort of an example, but it's to help you visualize the importance of it. Everyone has such a different experience with this after surgery. We cover this in the post-op videos, but you always want to prepare for what that most extreme example might be, so you're not caught off guard. So going back to staying hydrated, we do recommend really generically about 8 cups of water a day. That's about 64 ounces. And when we talk about 8 cups, we are really talking actual cups of water. If you were to take a fluid measuring cup and you were to fill it up, that's about, how much, 8 ounces per cup. That's really what you're looking for. It actually might be less than you think it is. And this counts all kinds of things. It's going to count tea. It's going to count sugar-free sports beverages, anything you drink throughout the day. All of this is going to count. You do want to try to get at least this much so that you physiologically know that you are not hungry. So sometimes thirst and hunger kind of get confused with each other. This is the generic amount so that you can say, I am definitely not thirsty. I'm not thirsty. I am hungry. You can make that call. The other thing it's going to do is make sure that your body has enough hydration so that it's flushing things out continually. We do need a lot of water to stay healthy, and particularly when you're losing weight, your body is releasing a lot of stuff it's held onto, and we need to flush that through. You need to get that stuff moving out of your body. So we're going to need to be making sure you have enough hydration, moving as much as you can. We got to get that lymph fluid going. Hydration oftentimes prevents constipation. You do not want to be constipated. Constipation for long periods of times is really unhealthy for the body. It's really unhealthy for your gut microbiome. It actually will cause your body to almost reabsorb toxins that we are trying to excrete through our feces. So if those feces stay in our large intestine too long, our body will start almost kind of resorbing some of those things that we want it to be moving out. We don't want to be keeping that in our body. So hydration is really good for that. And then what we promote here, Erica and I promote, is trying as best we can to really be mindful and limit artificial sweeteners. So try to make at least 75% of your beverage choices free of artificial sweeteners. And this is because artificial sweeteners consumed in too high of an amount is actually going to be toxic to your gut microbiome. They've done multiple studies showing that consuming really, really high levels of stevia and Splenda and all that kind of stuff actually creates an environment in your intestines that your healthy gut bacteria cannot thrive in. And that's, again, not what we're trying to do. We're trying to help promote those good bacteria. We're trying to give them a healthy, happy home to live in. So this is not saying that if you add some stevia to your oatmeal in the morning, you're going to have a toxic gut microbiome. This is like if you are drinking all day long, you're consuming all your 64 ounces, tons of artificial sweeteners, you're adding it into your foods, that's going to be an overload. So I have the 75% on here because I want you to have that wiggle room to say, I really want a Crystal Light. I really want a sugar-free sports drink. I want something like that. That's going to be just fine. I don't want you to stress about that. But we do need to think about how and when you use those artificial sweeteners, because you will be using them so much after surgery, because most people are not going to be able to tolerate sugar, that we have to find that delicate balance. So be careful. Watch out for those sugar-free coffee creamers. Watch out for too many of those flavored waters. Try to get to the most natural source. So what was your body designed to drink? What are you designed to drink? What are you designed to do? Well, it's typically water. And you can use natural sources to flavor your water. Fruits, cut up fruits, herbs can be another good one. Sky's really the limit. I've had many different flavored waters over the years. I had someone give me a banana jalapeno flavored water one time. So you know what? Your taste is up to you. There's no judgment. And when you are drinking, really, really make sure you go slow. So like I mentioned a little bit ago, you really want to take your time with this. If we were going to really be super specific, I would say shoot for about 1 cup an hour. And if you are drinking at least 1 cup of liquid an hour, then you are going to get your 8 cups within 8 hours. And if you go over that, awesome. You know, the 8 cups is not a cap. If you need more, you need more. But at least that way you're hitting that bare minimum recommendation. And then there are some beverages and drinks that I would recommend avoiding. Carbonation is the old standby. Many years that's always been recommended to avoid carbonation. You know, the research is, it's a little hit or miss with this. So the theory behind carbonation is that it will cause you discomfort, pain. There was a thought for a long time, I've never seen really confirmed or unconfirmed, that carbonated beverages may stretch your stomach pouch back out. I would say most bariatric centers are kind of split 50-50 on that. So, you know, you can take that what you will. I would say that carbonated beverages can be very confusing for your body when you're trying to lose weight. I would say a hard do not drink soda, regular or not diet. Do not drink it. Let's just pretend it's not even a beverage. I'm just going to completely get rid of that. But carbonated waters, LaCroix, things like that, just kind of, it's up to your own discretion. I wouldn't drink it right after surgery. I would give yourself some time to heal until you are really consuming a lot of different textures of foods before you introduce carbonation. But so give that one kind of a see how it goes. I would recommend maybe not drinking a lot of it, but again, it's the information on it's kind of split 50-50. Drinks that have sugar in them. So this one is something I would hold pretty fast to. An easier way of almost thinking about this is if drinks have calories in them, they're probably coming from sugar unless you're drinking a protein shake or just like straight coffee creamer. So drinks with sugar, this one will be, again, more obvious in the post-op classes, but sugary drinks, they are going to be metabolized so much more different after you have a surgery. They are going to just rush through your stomach pouch. They're going to cause a huge change in osmotic pressure in your small intestine, which typically leads to dumping. Dumping is something we'll cover in side effects after surgery, but we want to avoid it. We want to avoid that diarrhea that can come with that. So drinks with sugar, these might be pure fruit juices. These might be sweet beverages such as soda, sweet teas, sugary coffee drinks. I'm sure there's quite a few other things, alcoholic beverages that have a lot of additives in them. I'm thinking like lemon drops and Mai Tais and things like that. So we want to be careful of that. I would probably just go ahead and avoid those types of things, start identifying them, replace them with the non-sugared alternatives. So tea without sweetener in it, coffee with maybe just a splash of true creamer, not artificial creamer. Yeah, those would be some switches. Juices, alternatives might be Diet Ocean Spray and Diet Snapple. Those could fall into that 25% of you just need something different. So there are a lot of low-cal, low-sugar juices. Just look at the label. They should have somewhere around maybe 20 to 30 calories a serving. If they are falling within that range, you're probably just fine. So the same thing would go with like milks. I'd always be trying to look for those lower sugar milks. That might be your plant-based ones. So plant-based ones that I could recommend that would be lower sugar, lower carb, those are going to be your unsweetened almond milks, cashew milks, coconut milks, and then Fairlife milk is a really good dairy-based option. Fairlife will be ultra filtered to actually increase the protein content and lower the sugar. So those would be all good choices. Coffee, concentrated black tea, highly caffeinated things like this. Caffeinated, we'll come back to that in a second. So highly caffeinated things, I would not drink it. Coffee is very acidic. It's just a very, very mild irritant to the stomach, especially if you're consuming a lot of it. Concentrated black tea, if you drink enough of it, can also be similar. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to have any irritation on your stomach before you go into surgery. So before we have a major stomach surgery, you do not want to have a stomach lining that's a little upset. So I would actually just recommend making sure you're not drinking this about a month before you have surgery, and then give yourself another, couple weeks, probably 2 to 3 weeks after surgery before you bring this type of thing back in. Speaking of caffeine, we do not recommend energy drinks. So Rockstars, Red Bulls, these are going to fall in a terrible category of they're going to have lots of sugar in them, artificial sweeteners, chemicals, huge amounts of caffeine, all kinds of things, carbonation. So it's just a perfect storm of something that your body is not designed to handle. I would not drink them. If you need caffeine, you really need to be reaching for coffee. You need to reach for teas, black teas, matchas, green teas, white teas. That should be where you get your caffeine from. So we'll try to stay away from the energy drinks. They are not going to help you long-term. They are absolutely going to hurt you. I can't tell you how many times I see long-term people who have had their weight regain, they're struggling, and there's sort of these like the same things that people eat and drink. You'll hear this in another video as well, probably. People always are drinking energy drinks. They are eating Jimmy Dean sausages, and they're eating Smart Pop popcorn. And I don't know what it's about those three things, but without fail, it's like this trifecta I see almost every time. I don't know what it is about that. I'm just telling you my experience. So, and then last thing on here, we have alcohol. So alcohol is something to be mindful of. It's not something I would necessarily say you have to avoid this beverage. Don't ever drink this again. Just be aware of it, because you will metabolize alcohol differently. The majority of people are going to find that they have a much quicker, stronger reaction to alcohol than they did before. So whereas maybe you could sit down and have a couple of glasses of wine after surgery, you might drink 1 glass of wine and feel pretty buzzed. It will affect your blood alcohol content differently. I cannot stress this enough. It will affect it differently. So if you drink it and you are planning on driving somewhere and you get pulled over and you say, I just had one drink, your blood alcohol content might not reflect that. So be really careful about that. Alcohol does have calories in it that may or may not be super helpful to your weight loss efforts. So just know where it's coming from. If you're somebody who wants to sit down and have a glass of wine a couple times a week, or you want to have a beer on a Friday night, that's not gonna really be an issue. But if you can't stop drinking alcohol, you find like, well, no, I have to have that beer every week, I have to do this, then you might want to reach out to your bariatric center or reach out to someone to talk to, because this very quickly turns into alcoholism. 1 out of 5 people after bariatric surgery develop alcoholism. That is a staggeringly high amount. That is 20% of people who report it. So just be careful. That's all I have to say about that. So quick recap. We have making sure you're staying hydrated, drinking plenty of water, going slow, sipping slow, avoiding carbonated beverages, trying to avoid highly caffeinated beverages, not drinking things with sugar in them, and just being mindful of alcohol. And with that, we are wrapping up hydration.